Good morning, everybody. Jim Feist, Hank Goldberg here in Las Vegas, and good morning. Hope you had a happy weekend and some winners. We had a couple of skinned my knees and broke a couple fingers. It was just one of those weekends. Didn't work out real well for me, and it happens when you do this game. Sometimes it just doesn't work out, but most of the time it does. So that's the thing we have to lean on. It's a grind.
Well, I never had so much bad luck in one weekend. Oh, I'll take Sunday. I did well Saturday. But one weekend where I had teams, the Chargers got shut out in the fourth quarter and blew their game to a Tennessee team that was really struggling. And Tennessee went for the win with a 2-point conversion, which I didn't blame them for. But they could have won that game easily. And then, the Baltimore game, they came all the way back and had a chance to tie it, and the kicker missed the first extra point of his career.
I know.
Storied kicker. And when that happens, you know it's not your week.
Definitely not. You have another game where they hit a 59-yarder to win the game. Last week you had a 63-yarder that wins the game. This week, an extra point that sends it into overtime, and he misses the first time in his whole career. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and the other game that was bad was Philadelphia. Something's wrong with that team. They gave up a 17-point lead in the second half and wound up losing their game. And, you just wonder what's wrong with them right now, because this was the week, they had been improving every week, and supposedly they were coming around. The quarterback was starting to play well, and they just flopped in the fourth quarter, couldn't do anything. So I had two games where I blew big leads going into the fourth quarter, another one where I missed an extra point for the first time in a guy's career, and I had Washington, fortunately, and they almost blew their game. I had given up on that game. I thought they were absolutely going to blow it.
I know.
And they had missed field goals, saved me there.
Well, I don't know what's going on in Jacksonville, but I'll give the fans a winner right now, absolutely free, right here on the air. I didn't have a good week, but I'm going to just say it right now. Philadelphia is playing Jacksonville in London this week. It's a 6:30 start on the East Coast, or on the West Coast, 9:30. This is another trip to London. Philadelphia will destroy Jacksonville in this game.
Jacksonville's going to change quarterbacks this week, finally.
That will probably help, but it won't make a difference. Philadelphia's a much better team. The line right now, you can get 3. If you go out there right now, you should be able to find a 3, lay the 3. It's only going to go up. It will go up. So you want to lay that 3, get on it now, because it's time to do it. That's just my opinion.
I can see where, Bortles, last year was just unpredictable year, unpredictably good for him. He's never been any good, and now he's playing like his true colors. The question is, what happened to their defense?
Well, yeah, sometimes it carries over. And the offense isn't performing. The defense starts to slump a little bit. They're not getting they're 3 and out all the time. The defense gets a little tired. This is a tough spot. I mean, they've been playing like shit, and now they got to get on a plane and go to London and play the world champs, and all that motivate them. But I just don't think they're good enough. I don't believe they're good enough.
Well, I can tell you this: Philadelphia will not repeat as world champions. They'll just be one more team that flops the following year. And I'll tell you, the team that's coming on, Houston.
You know, let me say this about Houston. I was wrong about them. I thought that they were going to be really, really good this year, and I know that they won yesterday and all that, and they won a couple games in a row. But they have not. Watching the games, I know they're winning, but watching the games, I'm just not impressed. I'm not impressed with the way. And first of all, and this may be I got to knock myself for this. I just have a bias against the way O'Brien coaches this team, and that whole league, that whole division, they're negative points. I mean, of course, we know the best quarterback in that division is Andrew Luck, but he doesn't have anything much else going. But he did win yesterday, but that's nothing. But I just don't see them playing the way I thought they would play this year. Granted, they're doing better and they are winning. Just doesn't give me that feeling that they're ready to step up to the big time. That I could be 100% wrong, but and I've been wrong before. So it's just the way that I feel about the way that they just don't look like a team that's going to go very far. Now they open this week on Thursday as a 7-point home favorite against the Miami Dolphins. And, of course, we all know what the Dolphins did yesterday with the Lions. So there's a game. I mean, they're ranked. They're a 7-point favorite in that game, Hank. Do you think that line will go up, or what do you think about that number?
I think it's about right. Dolphins, Osweiler is the quarterback. They have internal problems there again with Gate, who did not play one of the top receivers, who came out and complained, says he wants out of there because Gate didn't play him much yesterday. And, he keeps running off one good player after another. I don't think he's a good coach at all. And I think the Dolphins are terrible. And, they're about to go to 4-4. I think they're going to lose that game. I think that one thing that you neglected to mention about Houston is that their defense is excellent. And their defense has played well every week. That you can't take away from them. Their defense will carry them. And the Dolphins will probably not score more than 10 points again.
Yeah.
Now the question is, can they score more than 17 against the Dolphins?
Well, that creates a bit of a dilemma for the total on that game is 45, which you hardly ever see 45s anymore. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Cleveland Browns. I mean, this is an amazing record, Hank. They've played 7 games. 5 of them have gone into overtime. I mean, geez, that's unbelievable. 5 of them.
And they keep losing.
Yeah, they do. They don't know how to win, but they do know how to play well. They play well enough to get to overtime. That's absolutely incredible. I've never seen anything like it. Of course.
Well, they play against a defense that's been giving up about 35 points a game. So they weren't playing much defensively. And the Bucks, barely won in overtime. The Bucks defense is bad. They're almost as bad as I thought that Kansas City's defense was. Boy, something. Cincinnati, that coach and that quarterback, when the game is important and it's prime time, they just get crushed every time they get into prime time.
I saw a stat.
Once again.
The stat on television was that going into that game, in primetime games, they were 0-9. Of course, now it would be 0-10. But that's unbelievable. And they don't show up at all. They're not even close.
Yeah, I thought they'd at least score points against Kansas City. But I mean, they scored 10 points against that Kansas City defense. It's inexcusable. Kansas City was coming off a tough loss. Granted, they're home and it's a tough place to play, but 10 points against a team like that defensively, it's, you know, Andy Dalton was, you know, he was terrible.
Andy Dalton was Andy Dalton again. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was prime time.
And there's another head coach that's been there a long time, has never won a playoff game. Primetime results are terrible, and he still keeps his job. It's amazing. Now, speaking of Cleveland, they go to Pittsburgh, which is, you know, down the road, like a 2-hour ride from Cleveland to Pittsburgh. They played an overtime game. I believe it was the first game of the year. Pittsburgh won it in overtime, but they had a big lead in the game and gave it up. And they opened the game 7.5. It's still 7.5. That's the number on the game. Pittsburgh's favorite. Total is 50.5. Yep. And Pittsburgh had the benefit of the day off because Cincinnati, Cleveland, Baltimore all lost. So they enhanced their position by having a bye week.
I'll tell you something. The most shocking result of the week to me was Philadelphia. You wonder what's going on with that team. I mean, they played a team that was sacked 11 times the week before, that had, you know, played poorly for the last 3 weeks, and you know, the Chargers were the team that's supposed to be on the rise. You know, if they're talking about the Chargers as the one team in that conference that can give Kansas City a run for it, besides New England, and they go over there and Phillip Rivers is a statue again. He can't. Now, granted, Gordon didn't play, and that hurt their offense, but still, he has enough weapons to go to. They don't score in the fourth quarter, and they actually, they could have lost that game easily. They walked away with a 1-point win against Tennessee. I mean, Tennessee is very well coached, but still, they gave up. A lot of teams had 2 touchdown leads going in the fourth quarter and gave them up.
Yeah. Well, Chicago put up a fight with New England, but when you look deeper into the stats, Trubisky made one pass, completed one pass in the game over 20 yards. Of course, that was the Hail Mary at the end of the game that got caught on the half-yard line, but the guy couldn't get in the end zone to tie the game up. So, but that's not saying much when you only complete one pass over 20 yards and it's a Hail Mary in the entire game. So they got a lot of work to do.
Well, if you're looking for them to improve on the long passing game, you're not going to see it happen because they don't trust them. So,
well, the question I have is, Hank, why did they play? I mean, they really never got after Brady in the game. When I was reading the articles and some quotes after the game, where they played a drop back defense to cut the under route passes that Brady loves to throw, but they didn't put a lot of pressure on Brady. And you don't put pressure on Brady, he's going to carve you up somehow. He's just too good. But even Mac.
Well, what could you expect? I mean, they didn't put a lot of pressure on Osweiler the week before.
I kind of wrote that off to how hot it was, and it really affected their defense. But this is a game plan they had yesterday against Brady. Is we're not going to try to put a lot of pressure on him. We're going to drop back in coverage and cut the undercut routes. Well, they still gave up 38 points. So that didn't work so good. But, it's tough.
But their defense is really maybe coaches are figuring out their defense.
Yeah, coaches do figure that out. They figure out offenses and defenses every week. There's new adjustments. We got a World Series.
That was one game. That was a game that I won, actually.
In New England?
Well, I thought New England was a bargain going in there.
Well, when they announced, when they announced Gronkowski officially out, the game went down to 1 and 1.5. So I mean, it was. If you're looking for a bargain price, New England was definitely a bargain price.
I mean, they win without Gronk. I think they were 5-1 without him last year.
Oh yeah, they know how to play without Gronk, definitely. They've done it before many times. This is I like the card this week. I like the matchups coming up. Hopefully we'll have much better results. We've got a World Series that starts tomorrow night, Hank.
Yep.
They have not announced the starting pitcher for the Dodgers, but they've announced Sale is going to start for Boston. That should be a good series. I mean, obviously Boston's the favorite. They have the home field advantage. I think Boston's a better team. No, I know Boston's a better team, but and barring anything unforeseen happening, I think they take it. I think it'll be a good series.
I don't think the Dodgers are going to win the game.
Not a game.
No, they can't hit, and they're going up against a superior team that can hit and play defense and has a lot of good pitching going for it right now.
Well, we got to look for a price. The Boston in a sweep. They should get some pretty good odds on that, Hank.
Yeah, well, Cora's making all the right moves. I don't think the Dodger manager is all that great, and although he's got a lot of talent on that team, and Kershaw got his good win. Red Sox are just hitting everybody right now.
Let's see if we can find anything, exact outcomes. I'm looking for a price here. Right now, Boston is in the series is 152. That's at one book. There's lots of prices out there. It was lower yesterday. Let's see if I can find an exact Boston to win series. Let me see here. Boston to win. Try to read this darn thing. You get a pretty darn good price. Boston to win in the sweep. So let's see what this would be. Oh, here, Boston to win series 4-1, you get 550. Oh, Boston to win in the sweep 1,100 to 1.
I like it. I'll tell you, Indianapolis in football is only a 1-point favorite over Oakland. Oakland stinks. Indianapolis is not playing that bad right now. They've got a good pass rush. They've got some good young defenders. And Oakland is a bottom-tier team. Indianapolis, I know they're on the road, but I don't see where Oakland's going to come up with anything, despite the fact that they have a week off. I think the Colts are going to beat them easily.
Yeah,
I want to get down on that game before that game goes up.
Yeah, you're right about that. Now the word is out there that Gruden wants to get rid of the entire. There's so many of the players on the team he doesn't like, he doesn't work well with. That line right now is 1.5. There's several different numbers out there that you can get on that. So yeah, I agree with you there. An open pick, so it is going up. I wouldn't be afraid of that. Laying anything under 3, 2.5 at the most, 2. But right now it's only 1.5. So, and you can get pick 'em too. I agree with that. That's good thought. Now, there's some really good games. The Rams are going to play Green Bay. I don't know. Green Bay is. I don't know. You know, Aaron Rodgers makes up for a lot of flaws. He really does. That's should be interesting. An 8.5 point favorite, 9.5 point favorite Rams over Green Bay. That Ram team is damn tough. Offensive, defensive, coaching, everything about them is good. It's going to be a good week. Hank, thank you very much for this week, and let's have a lot of winners.
I hope so. I could use it.
Okay, buddy. Take care. Thank you.
All right.